But the Bible speaking in 2 Timothy chapter 1, I think from verse 19 now, it said the standard of the Lord standeth sure. 2 Timothy 2:19. Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure. It said, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his. It said, let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. Let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. Next verse. We are reading to verse 21. It said, but in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but of wood and of earth. And it says, some to honor, some to dishonor. This scripture reveals to us the reason, the potency of the witness of our Christian faith seems to be diminishing is because the subject and the virtue of purity has been undermined. So when you find a church where men don't command the honor of God, this is one of the reasons. It says, if a man therefore, and this is my major emphasis, if a man therefore purges himself from these, he told us what those things are. If you read earlier verses, it has to do with issues that defile. If a man purges himself from these, it says he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared for every good works. We have come to a point where all we have are stories of what the patriarchs of old did. The question is, why has it become difficult for us to manifest God? You know, I kept asking myself, I say, media is a blessing because it amplifies what God is doing. But media has become a curse to our generation because we have learned how to hack the system, gain cheap popularity, attain cheap influence, gather multitudes, but you can't find the witness of the fathers. And what I share with you here, I'm included because it's a burden that I share. In the days of the fathers, when you find multitudes gather, the things God will do, both in the meeting and after, sometimes will last for decades. From notable, unexplainable miracles that you can't deny, to transformations. You meet people, you just know that the territory is visited. All kinds of people suddenly catching fire for God, running, advancing the kingdom, to reformations in the territory. Because when they visited the land, if they spoke to leaders, you found change. Leaders would redress their path, reorder their steps, resulting in territorial transformation. But our generation, at the end of all our movements, all we have left are pictures. Pictures. Pictures of people who came. Pictures of who we saw. I just came from Ghana last week. I asked myself, is there a change in that land? Let's do a study for another 2 weeks. If there's really a change. It's time for us to begin to evaluate the scriptures again and find if there are truly potent things happening. And if they are not, we examine the scriptures and find out what the fathers did that we are not doing. And I can tell you, one of the things the fathers upheld very strongly is the virtue of purity. Our generation, we are not just falling from this virtue. We are now creating doctrines that accommodate defilement. So you ask somebody today, what is righteousness? He tells you, righteousness is a gift. That's correct. Because Romans 5:17 makes us understand it's a gift. But that's not all there is about righteousness. You ask somebody today, what is righteousness? He tells you, righteousness is the divine nature that was imparted to you when you received Christ. That is true. Because 2 Corinthians 5:21 tells us that. But that's not all there is about righteousness. Because I'm talking to you today, first, because I have the human nature. But what if I was not talking? So it's not just about the nature. It's what the nature compels you to do. So I'm not just human because I have a human nature. I'm also human because I function like a man. That's why today, when you behave, when you see certain attitudes of men, they call it inhumanity. They call it beastly attitude. So there are many human beings that have the nature of man but live like beasts. Because you can't tell me that somebody who kidnaps a child, butchers that child, delivers the body and receives 10,000, buys a recharge card, eats food, without conscience, and you say that person is a human. No doubt he has the nature. But when it has to do with character, that's a beast. And that's what we have today, even in Christendom. Gift of righteousness, true. Nature of righteousness, true. But character of righteousness, far-fetched.